Welcome to the SSTA Podcast. I am so excited today. Today is a special day. Today is the day I launched the SSTA Podcast. It's the first one ever, and I'm ready to go. Ready for your eyes and your ears. So what is SSTA? What do we do? And why do we have platforms such as this? SSTA is a platform for women to learn, interact, and grow. It creates an opportunity for women to learn from each other. The older women can teach the younger women and share from their experiences. It aims at giving every woman, single or married, sound advice that can help you make wise decisions in life. Instead of pulling and gossiping about one another, there is more that we can do as women to lift each other up. If you're looking for some inspiration on becoming a better sister, a better daughter, a better friend, a better wife or mother, then you are at the right place. I am my sister's keeper is my motto. On this platform, we have various life-transforming conversations. If you want to transform your life and become a better you, then today's podcast is meant for you. Let's talk about today's guest. Today's guest is Farikanayi. She's a mother of 4 and a grandmother of 1. She's married to Wayne. She's a woman of many interests, but main passions are writing and teaching. She's a teacher and a social worker by profession. She's an author of 5+ books, and she currently finished 3 more books, which are going to be launched soon. The Shows That Shaped My Life is my favorite. She writes about her own healing, learning, and growing as well. She's so passionate about teaching and making a difference in women's lives. So recently she was saying to me, maybe we can have the Titus 2 type of conversations where the older women talk to the younger women and help them navigate issues which birth mothers might not cover. And then I also came across his husband, Wayne's post, when Wayne was actually saying, I struggled with Proverbs 31 until I met this woman. The Lord knew exactly what I needed in my life and sent her to me. So I was like, wow, this is just perfect. This woman has a lot to share and can make great impact in younger women's lives. So get ready for the good stuff from this amazing woman. Hello there.
Hey.
Hello and welcome to the very first SSTA Podcast. How is it? What's good? And how is life in Chicago?
Life is good. We thank God for everything that He does for us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Did you go to work today?
No. I'm off today.
Oh, okay. So you're a social worker. Are you teaching as well, or?
No, not yet. I've not started yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so you're
that's my profession. I start in September.
Oh, okay. I saw on your Facebook page you are gonna release 3 more books soon.
I've got 3 completed now that need editing and all the rest of it.
Wow, that's wonderful. Okay, so let's get to the topic of the day, the organized woman.
Right.
So my first question for you is, can you tell us what being organized means to you?
It means having balance in your life.
Yeah.
Having structure. I think those are the 2 words that can probably define what being organized is. But it's not a complicated process. It's not an expensive process. It's not a one blanket fits all. Being organized is personal. It depends on where you are in your life. It depends on what's happening. Sometimes even your age, your circumstances, whether you have children or you don't, whether you're a professional person or not. It just depends on the circumstances in your life. If I was to define it simply, I would say being organized means making maximum use of the time that you have, keeping in mind that what you do in a day affects your week, affects the year, and in fact, it affects how organized your life is going to be. All of it comes from what, the organizational decisions that you make on a daily basis.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. Like, being organized totally depends on who you are, what you're up to, and where your life is heading to. Mm-hmm. And to some people, it just comes like naturally, but to others, it's something they have to keep on learning about, in order to stay motivated. So,
That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what is it that makes people say this is a disorganized person and this person is really organized? What can you say about that one?
I think a disorganized person is someone who doesn't know how to use their time. They just wake up in the morning and the day happens. Their family dictates what they are going to do. Their spouse dictates what they are going to do. Their mood dictates what they are going to do that day. And their body sometimes, oh, I'm tired. Oh, I eat. So all those things dictate. So instead of them giving their environment the cues about what's going to happen today, they allow the environment to give them cues about what's in place that day. An organized person, on the other hand, I would say by the time they go to bed at night, they already know what's going to be happening tomorrow. They don't just wake up. We used to have this expression a long time ago where we used to say they do dega.
I know that one, yeah.
There's no such thing, they don't do dega. You have to plan ahead. So an organized person will plan and know what's going to be happening tomorrow. They don't just wake up and say, oh, what shall I do today? They already know, they already have a rough idea of what's going to be taking place. They've planned, they've prepared.
Yes. No, they do dega.
They do dega, yeah. We used to be told that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm learning something. You don't have, let the day dictate what you're gonna do, but you have to plan. Plan. Have a plan for the day. Yes. I love this saying which says failing to plan is more like planning to fail.
Planning to fail, that's right.
Yeah. So it's very important to plan. So what are your own personal methods that help you achieve some kind of order in your life?
One of my favorites, Post-it notes. Another favorite.
Yeah. Nice one.
And obviously, because there's a lot that we can do with the phone. You can set reminders, you can notes, you can set alarms. There's a lot that you can do just using your phone. I also have a big calendar, a desktop calendar, which shows me the month. So I can plan for the month. I know what's happening this week, next week. I can see all my appointments and the things that I need to do. So and one thing that I do is I use my texts. So I text things to myself.
Okay.
If I post it on me and I'm out, I'll just send a text to myself. Then when I get home, I can look at it and I can implement whatever needs to happen. But when I make a list on index cards, for example, I'll make a list, and then what I'll do is cross it out, as the things happen. And I love looking at the index note and seeing lines showing that I've achieved that, I've done that. So it can help me plan for a week, a month, a year, or whatever, so those little reminders work for me. But I would say preparing. You think things they don't do their
Yes.
Preparing is crucial. Setting reminders, which is where the phone is really important. Also decluttering. We tend to hoard. We hold on to things, even things that don't need, and things that take our attention away from the things that we should actually be doing. Planning ahead, and then also making sure to value time. It's not time is not a given. I might think, I've got so many years left. I might have half of them. I might have double. I don't know. But it's important to value time and to put it to good use.
Yes. Wow, that's interesting. No wonder why you managed to write quite a number of books. You can't achieve that if you are disorganized.
Yeah. And let me just say, being organized or disorganized is intentional. It's something. I am not a tidy person naturally, but I am an organized person. Sometimes that's a bit difficult to merge the two, because you assume that being organized means everything is, not your own system that works for you.
Yeah. Sounds like you are a kind of person that wants to get things done,
Yes.
Yeah. And I wonder where you get all the motivation and the energy from.
Grace.
The grace of God, yeah. Because some people will be like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it on weekends. I will do it when I get a holiday, when I get a break away from work. I will do it when I retire. And you know, some of the things they never get done.
They never
till
get
you get to the grave.
That's right. Yeah. You just have to value the time that God gives you. You have to value. Yeah.
Yes. Procrastination is not good at all.
No.
Yeah. So can you share some of the ways of organizing a home and creating a peaceful home? And what role can we play as women to achieve that?
Well, it's true that your environment has to be organized. Things have to be organized around you. But that's not, I don't believe that's the beginning. I think the beginning is up here. If your mind is cluttered, if your mind is messy, you know, if you don't have that internal kind of peace, it doesn't matter how neat your house is or your environment is, you're still going to be disorganized. So it starts with me sitting myself down and making sure that my mind is not chaotic and disorganized. Once I have control of that, or once I have help for that, then I can move on to looking at my environment. Because the environment can also affect your mood. If things are chaotic, it can affect your mood, it can affect your effectiveness. So that makes a difference. Peace starts from within, but a home that is clean and a home where things have their space, this can help. Now, some people want to have an art gallery for a home. Is in place, everything, you know, children are told to just look, they can't touch anything.
They can't touch it.
Stressful. So it actually works against your aim to be organized. So I would say being organized as a woman is finding ways of having things in their place which works for you.
Yes.
You have young children and you have toy boxes. Help them, teach them to put their toys away, make it a game, put their toys away, because when they are doing that, it's something you don't have to do. So you're trying to find ways to create time, but at the same time to create an environment which is peaceful. So just finding ways to have things in their place, shelves, storage boxes that are nice and attractive, or maybe color coded depending on what works for you. So extreme of a very neat and tidy and polished home, and the other extreme of a really cluttered home, neither of them demonstrates being organized. Being organized is having a space that works for you, where you know where things are, you can find things when you need them. Your children are not afraid, you know, oh, we can't do this, or we can't, you know, it's a home, but at the time it's a working space. And this is where we start talking about, it depends on what stage you are in life. Now, I don't have young children. It's just my husband and I. So we have managed to convert one of our bedrooms into an office.
Okay.
So organization for me is mainly around this room, because I can come in like right now and I've closed the door. And if I'm working, if I'm writing, if I'm doing whatever I'm doing, I have that space where, you know, thinking about anything else, I'm not doing anything else, I'm just focused. You may not have that if you have young children around the house and you don't have the space, but you can create a time where you can be organized. Get those children to bed at a given time. Then you have the time for you to be able to be organized in your own space. Not necessarily maybe space as in physical space, but space as in time.
Yes.
So it works. It's you know, the older you get, the easier some of these things become, because your responsibility in terms of family become less. I don't have to do a school run. I don't have young children to be taken to school or picking up. I don't have to be worrying about, oh, I have to cook for 5 people and I have to, I don't have that. So it's very easy for me to organize my day. That's the time of life that I'm at. But if you're a younger woman and maybe you have young children or you have other responsibilities, then your organization is probably going to be more about time than space, because you might not really have the space. But in terms of space, find storage things that can help you to have things in the right place where you need them, so that when it's time for you to do your project, you know, I pull out this box and all is there. Now I would say you can do it.
Yeah. That's very helpful. Yeah, I'm learning something. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I like the part you say it needs to be a home and not an art gallery where children just look and cannot touch. Because sometimes I think the don't touch rules are a bit too much in some of the homes, you know? No, don't touch this. Don't do that. Don't. And sometimes the children end up confused, you know? They want to explore, they want to learn, they want to experiment with things, which is kind of like healthy in a way. And it also impacts their development as well. It does, So,
you can manage the environment and teach them boundaries so that they know certain things. Obviously, you can't just say they can touch everything. And no, and they know why they cannot do that. You know, just put boundaries in place, but talk to them and help them to understand. From as little as my little granddaughter is just over a year. She does something and she tries to. Her mother says, "We talked about that. That's not for eating. You should put it back down." So you start with them, you know, from early so that they...
My little one does the same as well. He's just over a year. And you know, when he takes his pot out of the toilet, I just look at him. I don't say anything. He goes and puts it back and says no. He says no because he now knows this is not allowed. This is a no.
And those people are clever from very young. You can
they are. They are definitely. I hope you're enjoying this conversation with Fari. So if you're liking the show, please consider leaving a review or comment, because it would really help out and help push the show further. Consider joining the tribe, hit that subscribe button, and give this video a thumbs up. Right, back to the show with Fari. Okay, so organized as you are, do you ever face challenges as you try to stay organized? If so, what are the challenges that you face and how do you overcome them?
Challenges are part of life. You know, if you don't have challenges, then maybe there is something wrong with you, because we all have to deal with challenges and we have to overcome them. In terms of being organized, I think the biggest challenge for me and for many people is prioritizing. What is important? What do I need to do now? What can I set aside and do later? You know, what is crucial? What needs my attention, my urgent attention? So prioritizing is always going to be maybe one of the biggest challenges. But once you know what's important, once you have prioritized, then you know how to allocate time. You know, you give time to the things that need more urgent attention, or things that need to be done now. My mom, the door was always open. It was like a train station. You know, anyone would drop in anytime, and I would know, oh, okay, I have to go back into the kitchen. And fine, that's fine, but it also means the time you should be doing certain things you can't do because you are always going to be cooking, and being is an absolute must for us, particularly for us as Christians. But even with that, you have to pray for grace so that you know how to manage it, so that you still manage to do the things that you should do. Now, if you are married or if you have children, those two take a lot of your time anyway. You know, you can't really get away from that, which is where being organized comes in, because you allocate time. You make sure you have time for your spouse, you have time for your kids, but you also make sure that you have time for yourself. Let me just say, there are many women who gave everything to their marriage. You know, they stopped going to school, they quit their job, they just focused on their husband and their children, which is fine. But then the marriage ended, or the husband died, and they became destitute. That story in the Bible about the prophet's widow who went to Elisha crying, saying, my husband has died. She was destitute. because she had never focused on her. Her life was all about, and that is what we should do, but not at the expense. Also, alongside that, we also have to focus on ourselves and the things that called us to do and to be. So I would say the biggest challenge is just that allocation of time to make sure I have time for myself. I have time for my purpose, because being married and being a wife and being a mother are part of my purpose. They are not the be all and end all. They are not the 100%. I am an individual created by God for a given purpose, and I need to make sure I give that purpose time.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And as a young mom, I can totally relate to what you are saying, because sometimes the duties and the demands of being a mom are just overwhelming,
Yes.
And sometimes you find yourself focusing on everyone else and forgetting about yourself.
And not yourself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we all want to get to heaven, and God will say, well done, 7, because I have used my resources and my time well.
Yes. And we just have to become the people that God created us to be. We're not only created for our husbands and our children, like you are saying, because sometimes we achieve, the earthly stuff, we do the best we can, but kingdom-wise, we are not doing anything.
We're not being
not
effective.
building anything.
Yeah.
So we must understand that as women, we have a greater purpose and a higher calling. We need to strive to become the people that God created us to be.
That's right.
It's good to play our part in the family, but that must not hinder us from fulfilling our God-given destiny.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you're an organized somebody, you're not the only one who benefits, but other people do as well. So can you tell us how being organized has benefited you and others?
Being organized means I can fit more in a day.
Yes.
Which means I can allocate time for everybody. By everybody, I mean my husband and my children, the people that God has called me to serve and minister to and love and be with them. So it's about me using my time well enough to be able to meet all the needs of the people that are in my life. So if I am organized, that means when I'm with my husband, I'm not stressing, oh my goodness, I forgot to do that. Because I have that organization in place. So when it's time for me to be with him, it's me and him. Time for me to do things with my kids, it's me and them. And I can allocate time when it's time for me to serve at church or to minister to the people that God brings into my life. I have the time to be able to do that because I am organized. You can fit more in a day or in a lifetime.
Yes.
You give things the time that they need. You don't waste time.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. And when the time comes for us to give a report of what we did with our God-given assignment, we won't be having excuses. We won't be like, God, I had too many children. God, I was focusing on my work. I was focusing on my husband, because we know that we have done like everything. We have completed our assignment. Yeah. And what we want from our Creator is a well done, like you were saying.
Well done. Yes.
Well done, my good and faithful servant. Yeah. And also, I think it's fulfilling as well to see your children's achievements and all that, the fruits of your labor. Like what you're saying, I'm sure you're at a time when you just celebrate, when you see your children graduating and all that, you're just celebrating. You're saying, as a mom, I did the best I could for these kids.
Right.
And I'm enjoying the fruits. So being organized definitely doesn't only benefit you, but it's for the good of others as well.
Yes.
So using the model of the Proverbs 31 woman, what do you think are the major lessons that we take from here that we can implement in our daily lives as women to become more organized?
Well, I used to, maybe hate is a strong word, but I used to hate the Proverbs 31 woman.
Really?
Yes, because people would always preach it at us, It was, every man knew that set of scriptures. It was like, that's all there is in the Bible for a woman. Proverbs 31. Proverbs 31 woman does this. A Proverbs 31 woman.
Even if they don't know the Bible, they know there is a Proverbs.
They know there is a Proverbs 31, So we used to be, it felt like we were being bashed over the head with Proverbs 31, but I love it now. I love it now. And what I think the main lesson from Proverbs 31 is there is a lot that can fit into a lifetime.
Yes.
A lot that can fit into a day, as long as you plan. As long as you plan, there is so much that you can do. When we look at the Proverbs 31 woman, there are things that she did day by day. Things planned, short-term goals, things that she planned to do now. And then we look at it as well. So things like giving work to workers. She was an employer. So
yes.
To her employers, sharing out food, looking to the ways of her husband, making sure her children had everything they needed and her husband was taken care of. Those were her day-to-day kind of targets that she met. But then there are things that she planned for in advance. She was a businesswoman. She is a businesswoman, importing, exporting. You don't just wake up and say, oh, I'm going to import things from China. No, you sit down, you have to plan. How do I import? What method of transportation am I going to use? How much money do I need? Where am I going to get that money from? What sort of things sell? And where can I sell? Do I have the capacity for storage in my house? Yes. So these are things that you plan for way in advance. So she teaches us those two, that one, you have your short-term goals, and then she also teaches us that you have long-term goals. But when I read Proverbs 31, I also realized that this is a woman who was organized. She must have had some kind of spreadsheet, have notebooks, she would have journals, she would have invoice books, receipt books, because her level of business is not pennies and cents, and this is a business woman. To keep track of her income, she needs to keep track of her expenditure, she needs to keep track of wages and things like that. So everything would be organized, written down. But there are some things that stand out for me when I look at this woman. Number one, she set daily targets. Number two, she set long-term goals. Number three, she delegated tasks. She didn't try to do everything herself. Number four, she wasn't afraid of doing the work herself. Number five, she's not an idle woman. Sorry, that means she doesn't sit on her hands. She just, she's someone who is not idle. Number six, I think she sets up multiple streams of income. She doesn't just go to work and that's it. No, she has this happening there. She has that happening there. And then the last one is she sets very high standards. Her stuff, when you talk about linen and purple and her tapestry and this, it's not a woman who anything goes, Zichkes and stuff. No, this is a woman of high standards. So the things that she sells are things that enable her to be able to buy land. So that's not 5 cents. That's not $1. That's a woman who trades in large amounts of money.
Yes.
So those are some of the lessons I think that we would learn from it. Mainly the planning, the setting of goals, short-term, long-term, delegating, making maximum use of the time that she has.
Yes.
Sleep, her candle doesn't go out by night. So she's the sort of woman who has to be in bed for 8 hours. No, she goes to bed for 5 hours. And then when she's tired, she'll go to bed for 8 hours. So she does what needs to be done.
So maybe I qualify because my lamp does not go out at night because I do night shifts. I'm doing night shifts. So.
Okay, that's a different kind of not going out by night.
That's why I was telling my husband, I qualify, my lamp does not go out at night.
If the word slots you in there, you fit yourself right there.
Yeah, this woman is such an inspiration. She does so much and she has achieved so much, Yeah, if we model our lives after her definitely will never go wrong.
That's right. Yeah.
And I also remember your husband calling you the Proverbs 31 woman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because he can see, sometimes he gets upset because I spend so much time on other things and I have to put things down and just go quality time. But he values that. So
that's good. That's good. Yeah, and it's a blessing to have someone who is like that, someone who understands and gives you time to yourself. Because, some women, when they get married, they don't have that. I remember this lady who was a gospel artist, when she got married, everything just died because the husband said, you can't sing, men will be seeing you, you attract many men out there. Kind of thing.
But she was a gospel artist when he met her.
Yes.
And he knew that was a calling. That's probably what attracted him as well.
Exactly.
I rest my case.
Yes. we are blessed. We are blessed because our husbands can give us do this thing and they are actually supporting. It's a blessing. We thank God for that. As we finish off, what advice can you give to women who are overwhelmed by the duties and responsibilities of motherhood and feel like they're underachieving?
Well, whether they're underachieving or not, I think you are the best judge of how you are doing because you know, one, what you are supposed to be doing, and two, you know whether something is good. Like when God created, we are told with each thing that he created, it is good. It is good. He would evaluate. So I can evaluate my work and I can see whether or not I'm underachieving. But I would say, look at your day in a visual way. I like visual. I don't know if you can see, something like that, creating like a chart.
A pie chart, yeah.
Pie chart, if you are a visual person. So what it means is look at your day. What am I doing with my day? Maybe I sleep for 8 hours.
Yes.
Go to work for 8 hours. So that's 16 hours gone. So what's left now is 8 hours, and that's what you have to play around with.
Yes.
If you have young children, we said this before, train them from when they are young to be responsible. Get them washing the dishes. It won't kill them. Get making their own beds. Even if the bed is not made perfectly, who says it has to be perfect? Get them into the habit of doing it. Show them and let them do it. Anything they can do by themselves, train them to be independent, because the less independent your children are, the more dependent they are on you, the more of your time they are going to need, even as they grow old. Grown men who still need to have everything done for them because mommy never taught them or that they can stand on their own 2 feet. So that's basically what you need to do. Look at your day. Okay, I've got 8 hours that I sleep. I've got 8 hours I go to work. I can't really change those two too much, but I can change these remaining 8 hours.
Yes.
So what can I do to free up some time? Get the kids doing some of the chores. Get them to set the table for dinner. Get them to help cooking, depending on their age. Boys and girls.
Yes.
The kitchen is not for the girls. The cake, because your boy will go to college and he doesn't know how to cook. What is he going to do? So you train all your children to do the chores in the house. Make your family know you are not their servant.
I like that one.
You are mom. You are not their servant. You do everything you can for them, but they also have responsibilities. That will free up a lot of time. Look at things like, what am I doing with these 8 hours? How much time am I spending on the phone? Talking to people, things that don't even edify. How much time am I spending on WhatsApp? WhatsApp is beautiful, but it's also something that can take a lot of time. How much time am I spending watching TV? Because when I've watched that program on TV, when I get up, I've not achieved anything.
Yes.
So it's taking the 8 hours, which you can play around with, and making sure that you are using. I said before, get your kids on a program where they go to bed at a certain time. If your kids are little, 7 o'clock, if that's what you agree, they go to bed, which means from 7 to bedtime, you have time with your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
You have time to do your own things that you need to do.
Yes.
Now, in terms of sleep, you don't have to sleep every day for 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You can sleep for 7.5 hours and free up 30 minutes to sit and read the book, to sit and do something that you need to do, whatever your gifts or your calling or, whatever it is that you need to do. That 30 minutes is a lot. For me as a writer, 30 minutes, I can, more or less, work on a chapter. It's a lot. So if I give myself that additional 30 minutes every day, I can finish a book in no time, just utilizing that 30 minutes. Or I do my research that I need to do. I can catch up on my reading. I can respond to business email. There's a lot that you can do if you just cut your sleep time by a little bit. One of the biggest time wasters, I think, really is TV. Especially if you are addicted to soap, whatever soaps you are addicted to. You just sit there. What I do sometimes, if I'm watching TV with my husband, is I'll be knitting. That time, I'm also using it. Yes, I'm having quality time with him. We're sitting together, all lovey-dovey, but I'm knitting if I can. So that means I'm killing two birds with one stone. So I would say, don't be too hard on yourself. Don't compare yourself with others, but make sure your family doesn't take advantage.
Yes.
Train your children. It's for your benefit and it's also for their own benefit. Make it visual. Put a chart. Give them little stars and stickers every time they make their bed well. Every time they, clean their own room. Put their whatever you need to do, and make sure they have a given bedtime.
Yes.
It's an absolute must, because then they are rested. They will have a better day at school because they are rested. But then the main thing is it frees up time for you.
Yes. Yeah, doing what works for you is the most important thing.
Yes.
Because we are all different and we have different destinies. We have different things that we like. And if you know who you are and who you want to become, you become more confident in what you do. And you know how you ought to spend your time, you become more organized in a way.
Yes.
So, you don't have to compare yourself with the next person. You create your own methods and you start implementing them to become a better you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm learning. That's how I can summarize what you are teaching us here. Okay, So that was amazing. You're such an inspiration. I feel like I'm learning so much just by having you in the sister platforms. I think you must forgive me for always posting your stuff.
That's okay. That's the whole purpose of all of us posting. If it can affect somebody else, if it can help somebody else, God will speak to us, and we are able to make sure that we pass on what we know that He's giving us. But it's be yourself. Just learn what works for you and for your situation. Because not everybody needs to be on the computer. For me, most of the things I do are on the computer. But for somebody else, it's knitting. For somebody else, it's being in the garden.
Yes.
Find out what it is that you should be doing. And then you can organize based on that.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope this kind of energy will be imparted to all the viewers as well, so that there may be no excuses when it comes to becoming who they are meant to be.
That's
so
right.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom from your experience. It's really great to meet someone like yourself, Fari, and to be able to have these chats. I'm glad that you decided to come on the show and launch this podcast with me. May God reward you for your efforts. Really, I'm really grateful.
I received that. And may God continue to open doors for you, for the things that are burning within you. You don't do this kind of thing if you don't have the passion for it.
Yes.
You have to have the passion inside, and then it's seen in the things that you do. And the energy comes from when scripture says that He renews my youth as an eagle.
Yes.
That's where it comes from.
Yeah, I can see the scripture being applied in your life. I can see it,
Yes. Yeah.
So you've done all your children are gone, but you don't look like you are, It's amazing.
I'm still alive. So as long as I'm still
And
alive,
you're still writing plenty of books.
Oh yes, many more to come.
That the youngsters cannot do, it's amazing.
That's
It's
the doing
amazing.
of the Lord. That's the doing
You're
of
such
the
a
Lord.
blessing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for giving the Sister Podcast a chance. I hope you got something important out of the show that will help you in your own journey. If you did, please consider leaving a review and subscribing to She Surpasses Them All for more interesting content. Stay tuned for more. I hope that the rest of your week goes well, and remember to smile. Thank you and God bless. Bye.
Bye-bye.